Lots of clowning around on the shores of Mission Bay as we get back to ESPN Speed World coverage of Ralph's Thunder Tour presented by Las Vegas. The Ralph's Food for Less Bill Muncey Memorial Cup. Of course, there's serious business on the water as we get set for 3B. Speaking of Bill Muncey, Steve Montgomery caught up with his widow, Fran.
The Bill Muncey Memorial stands behind us here overlooking the race course on Mission Bay in San Diego, and Fran Muncey joins us. Her name has been much in the news. Chip Hanauer responsible for that. You put him in a race boat many years ago. Now he's approaching Bill's all-time career record. A lot of people curious. How are you going to feel if and when he ties and perhaps breaks your late husband's record?
I am thrilled and very happy for Chip.
Did you imagine it would ever come to this all those years ago when you helped Chip start his career?
No, it always seemed impossible that anyone could ever win 62 races.
So if you're happy about the record being tied and maybe broken, how do you think Bill would feel?
Bill would be so proud of Chip. Yesterday I gave Chip a ship's lantern. The Navy gave it to Bill over about 35 years ago, and I had it polished and gave it to him just as a token to maybe just a reminder that maybe Bill is watching and very proud of him, and we're just all very proud of Chip, and I love him, and I hope he does it today.
Emotions running high. Fran Muncey still very active in hydroplane racing. She's on the board of governors of this very race. And we're set for the milling period of Heat 3B, which is going to be coming up shortly. We saw Chip Hanauer right there, Lumar Window Film and Jimmy King in this race, as is Miss Pontiac and Greg Hopp.
Young Mr. Greg Hopp, we've mentioned many times, he has pretty well secured Rookie of the Year honors. How will he do here? We'll find out when Speed World coverage continues from San Diego.
Welcome back to ESPN Speed World coverage of Ralph's Thunder Tour presented by Las Vegas. There's a look at Fran Muncey as she gets set to watch Chip Hanauer and the rest of the field in 3B.
Greg Hopp and the Miss Pontiac, a very quick boat in lane 1, then Hanauer in lane 2. The Lumar Window Film and Jimmy King in 3. Mark Webber, already a winner today, out in lane 4 in the yellow boat. And here you see Greg Hopp on the left in the white boat, Mark Webber on the outside, both getting better starts than Hanauer in the Pico.
They're coming across the stretch for the starting line, and it is indeed a clean start. A 4-boat field. Mike Hansen did not start with some more troubles for the Supply Depot boat.
A great start by Greg Hopp over in lane 1, the white Miss Pontiac with the black cowling. And right now, Hanauer in the Pico has a little bit of water to make up here in this first turn.
And what a great start to Heat 3B. Hopp in first, Hanauer in second on the outside. That's Jimmy King in the Lumar Window Film boat in third, and Mark Webber in lane 3, currently in fourth.
Mark Webber has made great starts all season. This, not one of his best. And look at this race now as the Pico and Hanauer rocket by a boat that's actually pretty much a teammate, an identical hull in the Miss Pico. And now the two yellow boats hooking it up for third place. The faster one, probably the one in lane 3, but Jimmy King doing a great job on the outside.
A fantastic look from our O'Doul's Eye in the Sky of Chip Hanauer and the Miss Pico, putting a little bit of breathing room between his boat and the Miss Pontiac, driven by Greg Hopp. Something interesting to note, Steve, their pit crews were right next to each other. The boats positioned right next to each other on the shores of Mission Bay, so they kind of had a chance to help each other out in between heats.
You saw the lap speed on the Pico, nearly 160 miles an hour, and remember, he's running bigger than a 2.5-mile race course, so the Pico is really moving. And Greg Hopp and the Miss Pontiac, right there, he's going to move up and challenge again for the lead in this heat.
A more aggressive driver. You will not find Greg Hopp foot to the pedal the entire time, but right now Chip Hanauer doing a tremendous job of holding him off, keeping him at bay, even though he's on that inside lane.
Surprisingly, the York International and Mark Webber running back in 4th place as Hanauer now moves out to a lead in the Pico.
Tough to see Greg Hopp through that rooster tail saltwater spray, but there he is, staying tough, staying strong, keeping that lane 1, which could give him a chance to catch up to Chip if he drives a perfect race.
And Hanauer, even though he's in a close race with young Mr. Hopp, leaving plenty of room on the inside. That boat, the white one, actually leased from the Leland camp, so they're driving for the same owner. Here's Webber and the York International back and forth, and now you see the lead that Chip Hanauer has over Greg Hopp.
Greg Hopp doing a little hobby horsing, going from sponson to sponson on the saltwater of Mission Bay. But the story right now, Chip Hanauer and the Miss Pico asserting themselves and establishing an even bigger lead as we come around the turn. And speaking of big leads, he's also leaving a big gap between himself and the Miss Pontiac boat, which means safer racing.
several points in this heat. Hanauer has had that legal 5-boat overlap. When he could have moved over, he stayed out in lane 3 and 4. It makes for a great boat race. He's obviously faster than Greg Hopp, but this has given Greg the opportunity to race with one of his boyhood heroes, Chip Hanauer.
Greg Hopp, who had a couple of stints in the Miss Pico, knows just what kind of juice that Pico has. Now he's looking at it from the back end, unfortunately for him.
Chip Hanauer and the Miss Pico. We talked about the Budweiser and the way it rides here. The Pico riding almost as well through the turns, and a 400-point victory for Chip Hanauer here in Heat 3B.
Chip now has 2 firsts and a 3rd place finish going into the finals, and here are the standings from 3B. Miss Pico, Miss Pontiac, Lumar Window Films, York International, and Supply Depot, who did not start.
Chip, a fairly easy run there, a nice warm-up for the final.
Yeah, we needed to find an engine that would work, and that one worked. We're going to have to run with it again in the final. It's all we've got.
You actually needed some points to make sure you were in the final, and you got a bunch. 400 means you're in good shape.
Right, when I went out, they said you've got to be 3rd or better. So I would have taken any one of those 3 positions. But in the saltwater, it's better for us to be out in front because there's clean air, less salt hanging in the air.
You get one more shot at the red boat.
Yeah, they're going really quick. I don't know if it's in us today, but like all year, you know, we'll wind up and take a shot.
Coming up, Unlimited Lights. Charlie Wiggins trying to spoil the day for Bo Scheid in the Alamo.
We have the Unlimited Lights being put into Mission Bay now. This will be the last Unlimited Light final of the 1999 season. It's been a great one, and some of the excitement came today. Once again, it was Randy Haas out of Toledo, Ohio, in his Miss Comp Air. A spectacular 360 flip on the famous back straightaway here in San Diego, but that wasn't all. Randy landed the boat right side up, drove it through the infield, and wanted to continue racing. In fact, he ran almost a lap before the damaged boat finally settled. And there's more to the story. It's been repaired. It's going to run here in the Unlimited Light final. Now, the boats behind me are the ones we've talked about all year. Earl's Performance Products, driven by Charlie Wiggins, came here hoping to perhaps wrest the national championship away from the defending national champion. That, of course, Bo Scheid and the Alamo, and what may be that team's last appearance ever. Now, with the final heat about to go on the water, the Alamo lead is 400 points or more, so that part isn't going to happen. But we will have our last champion of the 99 season when the Unlimited Lights run their final, and we'll have that for you right after this word.
Welcome back to San Diego. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Ralph's Thunder Tour presented by Las Vegas. The Unlimited Lights are on the water. Steve, we've seen some of the best racing of the year from these light boats. The
world's fastest automotive-powered hydroplanes. We had a large, fast field here in San Diego. And, of course, as always, the boats to watch, the yellow guys, the Alamo and the Earl's Performance. But early on, Phil Bonancini and his red pocket mechanic sticking his nose right up in there, making a good, strong run in 3rd place.
And these lanes are very tight, to say the least.
It's fitting that the yellow boats should hook it up side by side, Rich. That's the way they've been all season. And here in this final heat, it looks like that's the way it's going to go. Now, keep an eye on Randy Haas, the blue boat off to your right. He's the one that did that spectacular flip earlier today, and he's out here racing. That's remarkable.
And Randy Haas is a contender. He's got to win. He won in Seattle, so he definitely is a boat to be reckoned with. And as we said, most of the close races have come in the Unlimited Lights field.
The Earl's Performance boat, Charlie Wiggins out of Gadsden, Alabama, has the inside. That could be a major factor here because in the battle for first place, Bo Scheid and the Alamo just to his right. He'll have to run a little bigger race course, and this is just going to be a dandy. Look at these guys hook it up.
From our dual's eye in the sky, you see the Alamo making up a little ground on the outside, and we've seen Bo Scheid find success in those outside lanes. He doesn't necessarily need to be in lane 1 to pick up a victory.
And by the same token, Charlie Wiggins has established this year with his new equipment, he is one of the best in the business, an excellent driver. We'll see him someday in the Unlimiteds getting a little loose there, and that may have given Bo and the Alamo a little bit of an advantage. Back here is Doug Brow in the red and white boat. That's the Vino.com, also having a pretty good weekend here.
There's a look at the Alamo pulling ahead, giving itself a little bit of a lead, and Bo Scheid looking for a 3rd straight national title for Ned Allen as they try to go out in what I guess you could call a blaze of glory, Steve.
Just a little bit of an advantage now for the Alamo, but Charlie and the Earl's Performance still have the all-important inside. Nothing has been established here. This is a great boat race. That's about 150 miles per hour, the top speed for these guys. And back here in third and fourth place, that's Doug Brow, followed by a newcomer. This is a GNH boat moving up and joining us, driven by Scott Schatz. He's kind of a local here and joined the fleet for one race only.
There's another great look at the UL-16 Beau Scheid in the Alamo. Obviously the national champion, Steve, they could have the UL #1 boat. They decided they're not going to mess with numbers. They've had success as number 16. They're going to keep number 16.
And as we said, this may be the final appearance of Ned Allen's Team Alamo, and it looks now like they're going to go out with a victory, their third consecutive national championship.
Not to mix metaphors, let's call it a trifecta for Alamo and Beau Scheid. You know, a lot of eyebrows were raised earlier in the year when Charlie Wiggins won the first 3 races of the year, but the Alamo proved itself to have the heart of a champion, came back, and there is your winner and national champion for a 3rd consecutive year, Beau Scheid and the Alamo. A lot of respect between Beau Scheid and Charlie Wiggins, and I guess, Steve, you have to consider Charlie Wiggins and the Earl's Performance Products boat the odds-on favorite for next year.
They had a great season in '99, but it's been decided your 1999 national champions, Ned Allen's Alamo out of Fort Lauderdale.
Earl's Performance boat comes in 2nd place. High point standings for drivers. Beau Scheid, Charlie Wiggins, Phil Bonancini, Randy Haas, and Dave Bender are your top 5, but Beau Scheid is your national champion.
You're good. Where's Karen at?
Well, Beau, can you talk?
Yeah, I can. I'll tell you, I didn't want to go out not winning. And we won the championship, and I knew I had one mission left, and that was to try to win this thing if I could. Not make any mistakes and bring the boat back. And man, it was a hell of a race.
You can have me crying too, but before I do, I want Ron from Sport Mart and Jerry from Hewlett-Packard, sponsors of the race here, to come in and congratulate their winner. They'll have a big trophy for you a little later on.
Thank you.
Winners of the Unlimited Light Final here in San Diego. Of course, they'll be presenting the national championship trophy for you too. Where did Ned and Susie go? We want to get them in the picture one last time here.
Right there.
They tell us that they're going to have to leave us now and go to other. Come over here, Mr. Allen. And, well, you went out in style, didn't you?
Come here, Susie. Oh, yeah.
Where's Karen?
What a day.
Come here, honey.
We had a perfect weekend. It really was. Beau's just the greatest driver. The boat held together. Everything worked. So it was a great event. Nice way to finish up.
You guys changed the face of this class, you realize, in the last couple of years. It'll never be the same.
I know, it's been great. Like I told Ned, we had some sorry moments after we knew we locked up the championship in our final elimination heat. And it's just hard to believe that 3 years is coming to an end so quick, because it seems like we just started a couple weeks ago. But I think we put our best foot forward, and we showed the class what we are. We're true competitors. We bounced back a couple times, and just a great thrill to be here.
Ned and Susie, I can't say we'll miss you because we're going to come and see you down in Orlando. I hope you got a lot of room.
Oh, we have plenty of room. We'd love to see you anytime.
Yeah.
Just let us know.
Great.
Ned, it's been great.
Thanks.
An unbelievably emotional scene in the grand finale to the Unlimited Light season. We can only bet, we can only hope that the Unlimited final is just as exciting and just as emotional and gut-wrenching. Mark Tate getting ready for the final. The other boats are in the water as well. We'll have that coming up next.